Welcome to the Fowler College of Business Management Major Career Pathway Series. I'm your host, Andy Esparza, and I'm really excited to spotlight our alums and how the management major helped shape their careers. In this series, you will hear successful management alums discuss their career journeys, offer career insights, and how San Diego State University faculty and experiences help shape the professionals they are today. Well, hello, everybody. I want to welcome you to the next in a series of interviews that we're conducting with successful alumni of the management program at San Diego State. I'm very pleased to have Neil Palmer with us today. Neil is a graduate of the management specialization within the management program. And Neil, thanks again for agreeing to join us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Well, why don't we just start? Tell us, Neil, if you could, when you graduated and a little bit about what you're doing today.
I graduated San Diego State in May of 2017, and today I work as a process improvement associate at a biotech here in San Diego. Okay. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the job responsibilities you got and what it entails to do that role? Yes. As a process improvement associate, my main role is to fix different identified issues within our organization. So this can range from anything from a compliance issue to costs that have run too high to just running a project to reduce the turnaround time. So we act as project management associates. Okay. So do you help diagnose the issues, or is it mostly when a solution's been identified? Is that when you step in? No, we diagnose the issues. Oftentimes, we don't know what the root cause of the issue is. We just know that a process turnaround time might have increased, and then we just get assigned to tackle it. Okay, great. Now, I'm really curious, and I know the students are too, Neil. As a general management major, I'm sure you had different options and things that you could pursue. You know, I think the specializations gives you some versatility. How did you end up in the job that you did? And was it something that you kind of knew you wanted to do? Maybe you give us a little background on how you got the job. Yes, I didn't actually know right off the bat of what I wanted to do when I graduated. So I had actually joined the student SHRM business organization. And I was lucky enough to take part in a student case competition where we focused on identifying issues within organizations, creating suggested solutions, and then how best we would implement those solutions. After my experience with that case competition, I realized that's where my passion fell. I really did enjoy identifying issues and finding the right solution for those issues. Okay. So just for clarification, SHRM is the Society for Human Resources Management. There's a thriving student chapter at San Diego State that Neil was an officer and part of that organization while he was there. So tell me a little bit more about this case comp. How did it work? So the case competition was focusing on different organizations that were seeing a major issue at that time. And our team acted as a consulting firm that identified those issues, what would be the root cause behind those issues. Then we would have to identify the major solutions and minor solutions to those issues and the root cause, and then how we would best implement that solution that we identified. So we worked with our advisors within the organization. They would give us feedback over the course of those training period. And then we actually flew out to Portland to take part in a nationwide student case competition. Okay. So that was a kind of a triggering event for you to say, boy, I really like this. I'm going to see if I can find a job like that. Exactly. Yes. After my experience with that, I really enjoyed the work we did, and just the fact of being able to have a good dedicated solution that would take care of any issue. And I've tried to find a way to continue that down my path. Good. So I think that's a nice message for everybody watching, that these student organizations offer a variety of opportunities to develop your professional skills. And I think you told me at one point, Neil, that that was an important criteria for the company you were interviewing for, and maybe one of the key things on why they hired you in the first place. That's correct. Pretty much at every stage of the hiring process, from when I initially met the company to my multiple rounds of interviews, they kept asking questions related to that case competition. And it just really shows how well that case competition aligned with what they were looking for at that time. Okay. So let's go back just for a second on the job that you do. Like,
what would like a typical day tend to look like for you?
Okay. My favorite thing about this is oftentimes there's no real typical day. But if we go into the fact that I would be running one project, is I would come in the morning, I would see what action items I had, what meetings that I had set up, and I would go over the course of focusing on identifying an issue around that project that we are assigned to. We would oftentimes try and put hard data behind that issue, such as what is the labor hours that have risen related to the issue, what are the costs associated to it. That way we can at least have a quantitative aspect of what we're looking for. Then over the course of that project, we would work with different SDMEs and the different parties to identify what their pain points would be around that project. And then it just really falls of where we are on that project. Would we have those meetings, or would we actually be running an implementation of a solution at that time?
Okay. Well, that sounds pretty interesting, and a nice combination of quantitative skills required, as well as sounds like it's pretty people intensive, like I mentioned before. So, can you give us an idea of what you think are the most important skills to have to be an internal consultant?
I would have to say the critical thinking mindset. You really have to go into every project questioning everything, because we don't know what the issue is right off the bat. We would have to really see what the problem is and what would be that root cause. So you just want to question every step of that process. On top of the fact, you want to have the learning mindset. You need to learn pretty much every step or part of that company. Whatever that project is focused on, you do need to understand how that department operates to then actually change that process in the long run.
Okay. All right, good. Well, as part of the management curriculum, I think the faculty and everybody likes to pride themselves on really being the human side of business. So maybe you could tell us how San Diego State helped you prepare for some of the interactions that you needed to have, the teamwork involved, the collaboration required, and maybe your own kind of personal leadership. How did San Diego State help you develop those capabilities?
San Diego State helped on several multiple levels, not only with explaining a concept to someone that is senior to you in a efficient and concise manner, but also when you're working within our case competition, how you would help and work with your other teammates. How would you influence your ideas, and how would you be able to really get your point across in a sufficient manner? So the ability to really interact at every levels of our student organization with different senior levels of San Diego State management and with other students helped me make the transition.
Okay. And how about an internship? Neil, can you tell us a little bit about your internship and what you did, and was it important to you?
Yeah, so the internship actually helped out really well, and it's through Home Depot. I was able to take a look at pretty much everything they did on the supply chain side and on the actual front floor. So it really was able to see a business in action. And then the supply chain aspect also helped me transition over to the company by seeing how they handled their first in, first out organization.
Great. And did you think that was helpful to have on your resume when you started looking for a job?
Absolutely. That is another thing that they did ask a lot of questions about. They wanted to see what my experience was with that, what areas of the company I actually touched on, and what was the accomplishments that came from that internship.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's another great kind of lead in here, is that both internships and involvement in student organizations can really be an enabler to successfully get started with a career. So, tell me, and maybe you can spend some time giving the students some advice. You graduated in 2017, which wasn't that long ago. And I think many of them are, the students are going to be watching this are a couple of years into their college career, and they have 2 important years left. What advice would you give them in terms of things they should be thinking about and doing to get ready to launch a career in a couple of years?
I would say the first thing is to try and find where their passion falls, or what at least most interests them. So what I did before I decided on the SHRM business organization was I actually attended other business organizations meetings to see what they had to offer students and to see what that field looked like. And then I could actually find what I was interested in to farther go down that path. For the actual transition out into the working world is I started using the Career Service Center. It was an amazing resource surrounding my resume, cover letter, how to actually conduct yourself in an interview, and everything that really gets you going, those first stepping stones.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you again, Neil, for your time. It's important, I think, for students to see successful alumni that are going through the same thing they're going through right now, successfully make it into a career that they enjoy, and get satisfaction from. So I really appreciate your time. Thanks for giving back to San Diego State. It's important to have alumni involved. And we really appreciate everything that we learned today. Thank you.
Thank you.